Welcome to the Igniting Hope podcast, where you will experience catalytic encouragement and practical tools to renew your mind with truth instead of lies, so you can experience transformation in your emotions, circumstances, and influence. Let's break off self-limiting beliefs together like never before.
Well, way to go. I applaud you for coming onto this podcast, a powerful belief workout. You know, we only build muscle by pushing against resistance. And I just applaud you for coming into the gym today. I get to coach you some. And two thoughts that I have before I get into the podcast today is one of my 25 beliefs for leaders and influencers is my current challenges and frustrations are my training ground for the greater influence I will have in the future. So the situations we have right now are our training ground. And then another truth that comes from that list is my response to something is almost always more important than the something. Again, way to go. This is going to be good. The title of the day's podcast is Let Go of These 5 Things Now. Oh, by the way, also, I just got notification this week that there's been over 1 million downloads of my podcast, and that just blows me away. You know, I don't do these to become famous or to reach a certain level of clicks or whatever, but obviously fruit is good. Fruit is good. We all want fruit. But so much of what I've done, even with these podcasts and a lot of the other things I do, is just give God something to work with. That's one of my main core values. And some of you, you're in a season where you're going to start giving God something to work with in media. This is this season. It doesn't matter how many people like it, listen to it, participate in it. It's really more about you. It's more about your development. So I bless you in that, starting your YouTube live, starting your regular social media post, and it's going to lead someplace in my testimony. Wow. I never would have thought I've had that many people. Hey, let's get into the podcast today. Let go of these 5 things now. Let go of these 5 things now. In India, farmers had problems with monkeys stealing their crops, so they designed a trap to catch them. They would put a hole in a coconut to the side of a tree, and out of a small hole inside the coconut, place a banana. When a monkey would smell the banana, it would stick its hand inside the hole to grab the fruit. But the hole was too small to let the monkey get both its hand and the banana out. Unwilling to let go. Unwilling to let go of the banana, the monkey would stay in the same spot until it was caught. Now, in the same way, we sometimes refuse to let go of things that are not good for us and are getting us trapped in mediocrity, getting us trapped in poor relationships, getting us trapped in emotional struggle. Let me give you 5 things that are not worth holding on to. I'll read them all and then I'll say something about each. Number 1, the need to be right. 2, being isolated. 3, the need to keep things the way they are. 4, wrong definitions of success. 5, preconceived ideas of what God is going to do. So first, it's the need to be right. We can be right with the facts, but be completely wrong in our attitude or in our timing. The Pharisees were technically right in bringing the woman caught in adultery to Jesus, but they were totally wrong in their heart behind the action. Some things we can do. Here's some habits that we can do to help us let go of our need to be right. First, holding our tongue. Proverbs 17:28, even a fool is thought wise when he holds his tongue. Secondly, seeking to understand before we seek to be understood. And then thirdly, choosing our battles wisely, not majoring in minor issues. We are letting go. Right now, you are letting go of the need to be right. Number 2, we're letting go of being isolated. Elijah was in a cave in 1 Kings 19. He was in a physical cave and a spiritual cave. The signs of a spiritual cave is that what we think is true is not true, even though it feels really, really true. And in his isolation, he had belief systems that were not correct. Listen to 1 John 1:7. It says, "But if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Jesus Christ, his son, cleanses us from all sin." The fellowship is one of the keys to overcoming wrong behaviors and wrong beliefs. Some ideas of letting go of isolation right now are join others in a cause. Join a group of people with something you're passionate about and make a difference. Secondly, be a part of a growth group. Do a book reading club. Get an online course. Join a Bible study. Small group. Get help as needed. There's no shame in needing to see a counselor or to address emotional and lifestyle problems. Number 3, we're letting go right now of the need to keep the things the way they are. Again, the Pharisees could not embrace Jesus in the new season that he represented because they were more focused on preserving the past. The fear of change blocks many from being part of what God is doing now. Here are some ways to increase the likelihood of embracing the new good things that God is doing. First, be willing to let others become more prominent than you. John the Baptist did this with Jesus. Regularly ask the Holy Spirit this question: what are the new things you are doing? And certainly we don't want to be addicted to excitement and easily let go of commitments and what important things, but we need to be aware, Lord, what are you doing? And then 3, regularly realize there will be times in our lives where we will need to do things that seem illogical to our human reasoning. Number 4, we let go of wrong definitions of success. Ooh, it's a good one. Letting go of wrong definitions of success. By the way, just as I said that, I sense something is really prophesying. There's a grace through this podcast of realignment. Success is not a goal to be attained. It is a state of being. If we need anything outward to validate us as a success, then we're not a success. Great leaders become successful in their beliefs before they become successful externally. Let me say that again. Great leaders, and I'm talking to great leaders, become successful in their beliefs before they become successful externally. Here are some key ways you can let go of wrong definitions of success. Number 1 is deal with unsuspecting sources of shame. Shame is embarrassment. Shame is when we feel less than. Shame is when, it could be our situation in life. It could be our job. It could be our appearance. It could be the possessions that we have. It could be our family situations, etc. These that create, we deal, these are unsuspecting sources of shame where we have that feeling of embarrassment. Those are great opportunities to say, no, I refuse to let this define me. Secondly, value inner success more than outer success. And then thirdly, consume the book of Proverbs. There's 31 chapters, a chapter for every day. Wow. And then number 5, we're letting go right now of preconceived ideas of what God is going to do. We're letting go of preconceived ideas of what God is going to do, not only in the church, but in our own lives, in our families' lives. In who we might use. Naaman in the Old Testament in 2 Kings 5 became angry because Elisha the prophet did not do what Naaman he thought should be done in a situation. And that belief system almost blocked him from getting a miracle. The Pharisees and pretty much everybody else at the time of Jesus missed the Messiah because he did not come as expected. The greatest persecutors of the new move of God are those who have been blessed by a previous move. Here's how we can let go of preconceived idea mindsets. Number one, add hope to our faith. Hope is an overall optimistic attitude about the future based on the goodness and promises of God. If our ability to thrive in life is dependent on specific prayers being answered, then we will not experience the abundant life Jesus promised. Secondly, study biblical examples of supernatural creative solutions. The Bible is full of different ways that God met needs and created miracles to open us up to his ways. And then thirdly, be objective and think through our first reaction to new revelation and new ways people seem to be getting breakthrough, especially if the reaction is negative. Many times I've been uncomfortable and troubled by something I have heard or seen in church, but later found it had scriptural support. Wow. Let's not monkey around by holding, you like that? Let's not monkey around by holding on to things that restrict our victory and influence. Instead, let us ask God to help us let go of these 5 things. And he is helping us. He's causing it to happen right now. The need to be right, being isolated, the need to keep things the way they are, wrong definitions of success, preconceived ideas of what God is going to do. And just, by the way, I want to just speak into need to keep things the way they are. Even relationships change. Even the people that have influenced us or we've been close to in a particular season, frequently there's going to be a shift where the relationship is not going to stay the same. And if we're fixated on holding on to certain people who've influenced us or connections with friendships that were at a deep level that seem to be shifting, being able to say, okay, God, what are you doing? Because a lot of times the Lord is moving. He has relationships just specifically for a season, and then there's a shift. All right. Hey, thanks so much for listening to the podcast. I'm going to be in Concord, California, Texas in May, Brazil, and Australia in June. I will be in New York City and Lewiston, Idaho in August. I'm doing an executive retreat in August that we're going to be announcing at Igniting Hope, a 2.5-day event at my house for a select group of people. Everybody select, small group of people, let me put it that way. And if you're looking for a deeper connection with me, and we're going to have 2.5 days of powerful leadership content, just make sure you're signed up for our newsletter at ignitinghope.com, ignitinghope.com. That's coming up. Wow. And then I wanted to mention, too, the Backlund Leadership Academy starting in September. That's our most intensive thing that I do. And boy, we've just finished year 1. What a success we've had. We've had 40 students, 9 months, 6 to 8 hour a week commitment. I believe this, that if somebody spends 9 months with me, with our team, they'll never be the same again. And we go through the 8 pillars of leadership that I teach over and over and apply them into different situations. And people get activated, get strengthened in their ability to communicate. And we take all of the concepts that we teach here at Igniting Hope and maximize them there. Hey, we bless you. We're here to ignite your hope. There's no hopeless circumstances. There's only people who do not have hope. Increasing hope is the evidence we're renewing our mind with truth instead of lies and creating positive strongholds. Decreasing hope is the evidence we're renewing our mind with lies instead of truth. Our hopelessness about a problem is a bigger problem than the problem. Almost always that's true. And then the joy of the Lord is our strength. A merry heart is good like medicine. We don't need strength at the end of the battle. We need strength in the middle of the battle. So we don't delay the activation of joy to when our problems are overcome, our uncertainties are overcome, etc. You know what I've found? There's never a convenient season to be radically joyful. For pretty much everybody listening today, this season is not a good season to be radically joyful. There's too much happening. There's too much things in the world, uncertainties. There's personal habits that you wish you were stronger in. There's relational dynamics. There's physical things in our bodies that we wish were different, and on and on. But the joy of the Lord is our strength. You're in a season right now of increased joy through thanksgiving and delighting in the Lord. Hey, before I close, there's just a few things as I'm praying over you, and I'm hearing inventors. There's inventors within the sound of my voice that you are creating or will create something that will be greatly beneficial for society and bring great wealth into your family and into your descendants. Somebody who's battling depression and discouragement right now, God is giving you a word. There's a word that you're going to get that's going to be confirmed, a promise in these next weeks, and maybe you already have it, and it's going to be reconfirmed, and it's going to become an anchor to your spirit, drive you out of discouragement and depression, and cause you to lead a movement of people of hope. I'm also hearing, follow your favor, it's leading somewhere. There's grace on you to not fixate on doors that are closed, but to see the doors that are open. And I did a podcast a while back called The Blessing of Closed Doors. Some of you just are staring at a closed door that you really wish were open. 5 years from now, you're going to look back and say, I really am glad that door did not open. And God's giving a strategy for somebody who wants to lose weight. The Lord is giving a unique strategy on that, and there's a grace on it. And we do celebrate progress, not perfection. Hey, God bless you. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast.
Thank you so much for listening. You can be a part of our live stream of this Igniting Hope podcast by joining our social media channels on YouTube and Facebook and hitting notifications. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing and leaving a review. Help us get the message of hope out to more people by liking and sharing this podcast. Also, we have so many more incredible resources for you, including books, events, and courses on our website, ignitinghope.com. And why don't you say this concerning the message in today's podcast? I receive it, and I'll never be the same again.